Okay, workout of the day. Okay, you're gonna only do 20 minutes of hard work, yeah? The total session is gonna be longer, you're gonna need a treadmill. So all we're gonna do is 10 times 2 minutes on a treadmill at 10%. Yeah, that's gonna sound pretty easy apart from the gradient. Gradient is gonna be a shock to you if you've not ran at 10% before. So if you've not ran at 10% before, gradually move up from 3% to 5% to 7%, 8%, 9%, and then 10%. Gradually move up. But the session is simply, if you can do this, and you can do this if you're used to running hills and if there's got some steeper gradients on your normal run, you can do this because we're going to do it really slow. So all you want to do is you're going to do 10 times 2 minutes at 10%, and then you're going to have 60 seconds rest in between. And what we're going to monitor at the end, so that's literally 30 minutes with a warm up before and a cool down afterwards. All we're going to monitor within, you're going to keep the pace at the same pace. So let's start, say for instance, with 8, 9, 10 kilometers per hour. So it's slow compared to your usual running. Keep it slow compared to your usual running for sure. So your heart rate is not going up into that zone 4, zone 5. It's not going off the charts, but it's manageable, it's controllable. And the reason we want it controllable is because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to become better uphill runners. So you're trying to engage your glutes, you're trying to engage your hamstrings, you kind of take as much work as possible off the calves because they're smaller muscles. The smaller muscles that make up the lower leg, and they're going to get tired easier, and you're trying to push off from the glutes. So it's all about form, it's all about getting used to running up hills, and it's just 10 times 2 minutes. So you can be thinking about each one of those, you can be thinking about form for just 120 seconds, and then what we're looking at is rest. So within that 60 seconds where you just hop off the treadmill, you're getting your breath out, maybe you're taking a sip of water. How much is your heart rate coming down from what it was at the end of that 2 minute rep to what it was within the 60 seconds? So you learn to recover. So it's deep breaths through the nose, out through the mouth. Not too kind of vigorously, but controlled, so that with what you're teaching your body to do is within a race, when you go into the red, you're able to kind of slow down a little bit, take some deep breaths, and get in control again so that you can move forward, and you can move forward on the go. And that's what you want to do with interval training. You want to teach yourself to recover, ideally on the go, but if you can do it initially resting, initially kind of off the treadmill, it's going to be easier to do that if you just slow down a little bit. Like if you're doing an interval session on the track, you're doing 20 times 400 meters with maybe 200 meter jog, you'll be able to gradually get to the point where within that 200 meter jog, even though you're moving forward, your heart rate is able to jump back down from what it was in the 400 meter rep, which will be high, to really low. And ideally for me, I'm looking to get it under 130, under 120, so back into zone 1, so I'm fresh and ready to hit a quality rep again. Exactly the same on the treadmill. So a really important session for me, this, because what you'll see over the weeks, that obviously the progressions are, you can increase the amount of time that you're doing the reps. So you can go from 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes. I'd say like 5 times 10 minutes is a great session to do this. Gradually move up to that, and that's going to take you a few weeks or a few months to get up to that point. Or you can increase the speed. Now you can increase the speed almost without a limit, yeah, but there's going to be a point where it gets too hard for you. But very quickly at 10% especially, 12 kilometers per hour, 5 minutes per kilometer at 10% feels tough, yeah. So there's not, even if you're an elite athlete, very quickly it's going to seem, even for 2 minutes, it's going to seem very tough. And if you look at hill races, there are hill races around the world where it's just a mile uphill or a kilometer uphill, but it's a heavy gradient. You'll see that the lactic acid is exploding in people's legs, and you'll see that there's an initial great start because everybody can kind of power through the first 200, 400 meters, and then all of a sudden it's grinding to a halt, and people at the end are literally kind of tasting blood. So there's lots of progressions within this. It's a nice, easy session. Warm up 7 to 10 minutes. What I would do for the warm up is literally walk for 200 to 400 meters, really slow jog, then start the gradient going on the treadmill, so you kind of get into 3% and 4% and 5%, up to 7%, up to 8%, and then be doing approximately a minute and a half at the pace that you want to hit the first rep for the gradient of 10%. That's what you want to be doing. Now you can alter this session so it's not too much pressure on the Achilles, not too much pressure on the calf, not too much pressure on the glutes and the hamstrings. You can alter this session for you so it's just 5% if 5% is a big gradient. And if you're living in the flat, if you're in Scandinavia, or if you're in London, you don't have access to hills, 5% is also a great gradient. So if you're just doing 10 times 2 minutes with 5% gradient with 60 seconds off, maybe up the pace a little bit naturally, and that's the great versatility about the treadmill, but still keep that 60 seconds, because still within 60 seconds, which is a great judge of how much you can bring the heart rate down, that's a great measure of how fit you're getting. So yeah, 10 times 2 minutes, warm up, get ready, make sure the first rep and the second rep is not a shock to you, so that warm up is super important. Make sure you engage in the glutes, making sure that they're doing the work in this session, and then warm down after with just, again, a really slow jog, gradually bringing the pace down, gradually bringing the heart rate down until a walk, 200 to 400 meter walk at the end, and then knowing that you've had a great session, and then that's an easy session to monitor over the weeks. Good luck.